Hello there, this is section 6465 practice test. Let's get started. I'm not going to graph in this graph here, I'm going to graph on the big graph, so let's get to work on that. If y is greater than or equal to 0, that would be a horizontal line at 0. We have x is greater than 0, which would be a vertical line. Let me put that in there. And if we're greater than both of those, we are going to shade above and to the right. So we're in the first quadrant with those two. So then let's do this one, this inequality right here. It has a y-intercept at 6, 2, 4, 6 right there. And we have a slope of negative 2/3. So we're going to go down 2 and over 3, down 2 and over 3. So let's see if I can get a line that does that. We get a line that looks like that. Right there. And then the last one here, if I wanted to have my y-intercept up at 16, I don't have quite that much room on my graph. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But then if I go down, I can find a couple points at, let's go at 2, I'm at 8. If I put in 2 for x, I get 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8 there. And then from there, I have a slope of negative 4. So down 4 over 1, down 4 over 1. So there we have it. Let's see which side of those we're going to shade. If I am the less than, I would be below this one. Less than, I would be to below and to the left. So let's find our points, my vertices. We're going to circle this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we have my table and a 2x plus 3y table, which is from up here. And I have the point 0, 0. I have the point 0, 2, 4, 6. I have the point over 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. And this point here is over 4, up 0. Now let's plug those into my maximizing function, and I get 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 18 is 18. 6 plus 12 is 18. And 8 plus 0 is 8. Notice that these two have the same maximum value. These two. The thing they have in common is that they are both on this line. So we would say our maximum value is on the line, and we would say that line was y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 6. Because there's more than one point, there isn't a single point, it is the things on the line. Let's do the next one. In this one, they give us the points, so let's make our table. X, y, and 9x minus 2y. We have 2, 13, 14, 9, 12, 4, and 3, 7. Those are my points. Let's plug them in and see what we get. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 26 gives me negative 8. 9 times 14 gives me 126. Minus 18 gives me 108. 108, 9 times 12 is 108. Minus 8 gives me 100. And 27 minus 14 gives me 13. 27 minus 14 gives me 13. So my minimum value of negative 8 occurs at the point 213. My maximum value of 108 happens at 14.9. Number 3, we're going to do some partial fraction decomposition. First thing we have to do is write this with a common denominator. So this last fraction, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by x squared plus 1. When I do that, I have a common denominator. So I'm going to make an equation with my numerator. And I'm going to FOIL this out when I bring it down. So I'm going to take cx times x squared gives me cx cubed. Cx times 1 gives me cx plus dx squared plus d. Now let's make our equations with that. We have one cube term, and so we know that 3, my cube coefficient, has to equal c. We know that we have a squared, and so we know that d, which is our squared term over here, which is 0, has to be equal to d, which is the coefficient on my x squared term. Then let's go to the x terms. We have an ax and we have a cx for x terms. So I'm going to say 4, the coefficient in front of x, is equal to a plus c. And my last term is d, which is by itself right there, has to be equal to 0. D plus b. Almost forgot about that guy. Plus b. All right. So with that, we know that if c is equal to 3 and d is equal to 0, that a has to be a plus 3 has to be equal to 4, so a has to be 1, and b has to be 0. So we know that a is 1, b is 0, c is 3, and d is 0. And if we were going to write the fractions, we would write 1x plus 0 over x squared plus 1 squared plus 3x plus 0 over x squared plus 1. Let's take a look at the next one, number 4. If we're going to do partial fraction decomposition, we would write it as a over x plus b over x plus 1 plus c over x plus 1 squared. We need to write it as a common denominator, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 1 squared on that fraction. This one we're going to multiply by x and x plus 1 on top and bottom. And on this one we're multiplying top and bottom by x. Now that we have them written as a common denominator, we're going to write 5x squared plus 20x plus 6 is equal to a times the quantity of x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus b times the quantity of x squared plus x plus cx. Now we're going to write our equations. Let's distribute this out into ax squared plus 2ax plus a plus bx squared plus bx plus cx. So our equations would be 5 equals a plus b, 20 is equal to 2a plus b plus c, and 6 is equal to a, and then we can solve that. We get a equals 6, b equals -1, and c equals 12, 11, 9. And then we can write those equations as 6 over x plus -1 over x plus 1 plus 9 over x plus 1 squared.